Hello folks, welcome back. I'm hoping you're doing well, whatever you. Now, this is Dr. Politica, and here we decode power, the state Kenya. So, iki for your lawyer, top lawyer, Kyallo, is actually taking a new twist, and new revelations that occur. Siri mpya zina tibuka. And the thing here is that the investigation is focusing on Muigai. Skiza.
Again, we went to court, and I was represented by Professor Bombshell, who is a renowned lawyer. And when we went to court, he categorically stated, "We are here. We want that judgment produced before court. We have no other arguments. We just want that judgment." Again, the lawyer of KCB, Philip Nyachoti, admitted that judgment does not exist. But when they delivered their judgment, the 5 judges, Newton Makadia, Mukathurima Muinoti.
Yes, he had a case na KCB, maybe because of loan, and the bank wanted to take his land worth 3.5 billion there. And ilikuwa ni vita kati ya hii bank ndaka land KCB, yeye pia amekataa, anaambia bank kwamba he wants to give them a different land worth the loan. That's how I understand it. But what I did, the bank took the land na wakaiuza at 70 millions. Yeah. So the lawyer was helping Muigai to actually, follow up on this. And Muigai is a cousin to former Uhuru Kenyatta, so it's a powerful family. So this case was very hot to a point whereby there was this allegations of corruption, whereby it's alleged that $2.5 million zilikuliwa na Supreme Court judges. In fact, even name of Supreme Court Judge Leniola was actually mentioned there. So investigation in a stop purple. Why am I saying so? Because yesterday the Supreme Court spokesperson said this.
In that court was Senior Counsel Paul Mwite, and he challenged them. He said, "Where is this judgment?"
Idara ya mahakama kupitia kwa msemaji wake Paul Ndemo leo asubuhi ilijitokeza na kupinga vikali madai ya Muigai, ikisema, "Tunakanusha vikali madai yoyote ya utovu wa maadili dhidi ya majaji waliokalia kesi hiyo. Hakuna chombo chochote chenye uwezo kimewahi kupata ushahidi wa makosa au ufisadi, na Muigai hajawasilisha ushahidi wowote wa kuaminika kuthibitisha madai yake." Kudai kuleta ushahidi baada ya baadhi ya majaji kustaafu na wengine kufariki naonyesha nia mbaya, chuki na ajenda iliyofichwa. Nao muungano wa mawakili wa ngazi ya Senior Counsel maarufu kama SCB unahisi kuwa ni sharti polisi wachunguze ikiwa kuna uhusiano wa madai ya Muigai na mauaji ya Mbabu, ukisema SCB inabainisha kuwa siku hiyo Mbabu aliuawa kulionekana chapisho kwenye mitandao ya kijamii likimwonyesha kapteni mstaafu Kung'u akilalamikia kesi yake ya miaka 33 ambayo marehemu Mbabu aliwahi kuwa wakili wake.
Yes, they were hungrily, refusing to accept what, Muigai said about linking them to corruption, because the assumption was probably ile kesi ya corruption kwa Supreme Court ndo ili lead to hiring the hitman. That's how maybe Muigai was putting it, because the video it is the video a day to the assassination. So Kenyans were like, "Hey, kwani is it the mambo ya Supreme Court nimefanya jamaa kauliwa?" Because of course there's no evidence to prove it, because at the same time Muigai was also having Kyallo was also investigating some other cases. In fact, remember, unapaka mambo ya IBC, whereby it is alleged that he once met Chebukati to, overturn victory ya Ruto.
Huyu lawyer mwenye walifikisha Sayuni after working hours, ako na very dramatic professional line. From meeting with the late Chebukati at 3 a.m. to now taking part in settling a certain case with the Uhuru family. Kidogo nasikia alikuwa block, Senate, bill yenye wanasema waongeze miaka. Nataka nikikuwa mkubwa nikuwe that dramatic. As per now hata sijapona kitovu, but we are getting there. I'm just worried about the people who were with him during that meeting with the late Chebukati. Amos Wako and Raphael Tuju, muwaweke kwa maombi, sababu mutasafirika yani hakuna hata bumps, hakuna kusimamishwa na traffic police direct. Don't question my humor, it's dark and very calming.
And some people say that maybe Ruto was revenging, maybe. I saw someone say that. But now you see, case kama is as a assassination, where someone has just been killed, wanga ni ngumu ku solve. Because one, the killers, there's no trace ya the killers. These guys were professional. Walipiga huyo jamaa risasi na wakapotea. And in fact walivaa mask, and the pikipiki they were using hazikuwa na number plate. Na hata kama zilikuwa nayo hazikuwa captured. It's like the area they chose to carry out the crime hakukuwa na cameras, maybe, I don't know. But the thing is that to solve such a case needs, the government intervention. Lazima serikali ingilie na iamue kwamba they want to solve this case. But how can the government solve this case? It's not going to be possible, because a case that involves, for example, let's assume that maybe Casey, it involves the Supreme Court. The government wouldn't want.
I believe if you have an interest in the happenings in the judiciary, you must by now have listened to the painful experience by Captain Kungu on how he has been defrauded through an elaborate, nefarious enterprise effectuated through the judiciary, right from the High Court to the Supreme Court, and unknowingly even before the Judicial Service Commission. Captain Kungu and I have met on several occasions and reviewed this matter, and it was my expectation that the Judicial Service Commission will help unravel this problem. Friends, Kenyans, we must stop being comfortable with corruption in the judiciary. It cannot be like this. If Captain Kungu can be subjected to this treatment, who do you think you and I are when these judges, magistrates and commissioners of the Judicial Service Commission have to deal with us? They will do the same thing.
Kenyans to perceive Supreme Court kama corrupt. Because remember, even Raila Odinga himself once said that Ruto had paid Supreme Court judges to actually say that alishindwa, Ruto kawin. Remember that case, whereby Mother Koome just said that, the evidence that Raila presented were hot hair. So, Ruto haisikubali kwamba Kenya ndio kwamba kuna corruption Supreme Court. Because Kenyans will question the next elections, and Kenyans will question the judgment that was delivered in 2022 elections. So, solving a case ya Kyallo will be like solving ile case ya Ong'ondo, whereby tulizunguka, eventually the case has never been solved. In fact, the case is forgotten. Nothing's happening. Even Arauco, the person who was maybe accused to have been at the center of the crime, was released, and right now is actually campaigning in Kasipulka Bondo, trying to replace Ong'ondo. How much to take the position of Ong'ondo? Of course, we can't say that it's him because there's no evidence. No, you see, in any case, lazima kuwe na evidence. Kama una evidence, someone anachiliwa, because you have to link that person to that particular crime. So if there's no that evidence, no case. And that's what happened. So even this case, it won't be easy because the Supreme Court now is hungry at what you guys said about them being compromised, sharing $2.5 million, bribery, kila kitu nini, so that ile kesi ya shamba yenye ilikuwa worth over 4 billion KCB user, and KCB sold it at 70 million. So it tells you there's a problem somewhere. How do you sell a land worth 7 billion at a price of, it was between 4 to 7. I'm not sure about the figure, but let me, it was between 4 to 7 at a price of 70 million. See, it makes sense. And it really shows that indeed there was some games played there. And probably that was the man to die. Even though hii kifo wanachunguzwa. So so many other factors can come up. Lakini the investigators are actually focusing on this particular factor. Yeah, corruption in Supreme Court na kila kitu. But the Supreme Court wamerefute, wamesema hapana, there was no money paid. In fact, they're saying that because the allegation is this money was received in an hotel, mahali, and Nenola took the money. That's the allegation. You see, that's a very serious allegation against a superior judge. So this case is very serious to a point whereby someone can lose his life. Yeah, of course they don't say that he came from the Supreme Court, but according to the way the investigators are talking and the way Muigai just released his video, some Kenyans believe that this must have emanated from Supreme Court. Imetoka from Supreme Court, even wanasema. Yeah. So tell me, do you really believe that hii kesi imetoka Supreme Court? Assassination, hii kifo. Ama do you think hii kifo imetoka IBC? Because people say that he actually met Chebukati to overturn Victor Ruto. Where do you base your facts? Comment then, of course, until the next video. Thank you. If you love politics, then Dr. Politica is your cup of tea. The place for minds that think. If you are watching this from anywhere else, search the name, hit subscribe, and stay sharp with us. Thank you for making Dr. Politica your home for fearless political truth. Every view, every like, every share fuels the fire behind the hours of research, filming, and editing we pour into each episode. By showing up consistently, you don't just support a channel, you empower a voice. In a world ruled by headlines, spin, and power games, you remind us that real people still care about real facts. We are here to inform, inspire, and ignite critical thinking, not just for today, but for generations to come. You are not just a viewer, you are the reason this platform exists.